so those reasons, but still, I said, guys, we're not here to screw you. We put $5 grand down on this. Did we put $5 grand down on this one?
Yes.
So I don't like doing that ever. I don't like putting more than $1,000 down. In fact, I'd like to put $10 down, if I'm being honest. So, but in some cases, you got to put money down, and when you have a big deal, they knew it was a good deal. They knew that the house needs some things. They wanted us deep, and they got us deep. And I was comfortable with it. I didn't like it, and I didn't like how the process was, but I liked the end result, which is being smart, right? Not letting the BS bother me, or let it affect the deal. And I've had to learn that over the years. I've lost my cool more than times than I wish to remember. So at the end of the day, that's kind of what happened. So we closed it, but in some ways it was almost like coming here, like, what are we getting into, right? The first time that I had seen it. Actually, Danny was the one that walked it. I had not seen it until we closed it.
They wouldn't let us have an inspection.
Well, it was all in the same vein. Yeah. And there's more in there. But I had an investor locally that we were going to work with, but all of it was just they were guarding against either walking through inspection and saying there's worse than I thought, or trying to buffer us with the seller, which to a degree I understand. But I've always believed that if you get out there get back what you put out there, and people that are always worried about getting screwed. Probably the ones screwing people. So anyway, but we closed the deal. We paid $205 for the property. Okay, the ARV, the very clean ARV, which stands for what? Okay, and the definition in my book is fixed up really to the nines. That doesn't mean that you're above and beyond. You're not putting in a $50,000 kitchen. The price point within the parameters of that. So, but if it's totally fixed up, ready to go, beautiful, and we're gonna walk. We'll have a combination of what we're already planning on doing and what you guys might suggest. And but ultimately, $350 certainly very easily comped out. Problem was, it's hard to find apples to apples. We're in an acre lot here on the river. That concrete dock. I don't know what you think. We thought 50 to 60. We had a pest guy out here to spray it. He said he's got a buddy that does docks. He said that's a $150,000 dock. Yeah. I have no idea. But we're going to walk out there in a second. It's
deep water dock.
Yeah,
that's not
an
isn't
average
4
dock.
foot of water. This goes.
Interesting. I don't think I knew that.
This goes 28 feet deep.
Yeah, they did pylons.
They did pylons, right?
So
somebody paid some money for this dock, right? So
ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, that's right. So we think, and again, based on market conditions, that we would probably take it out at $375, might even start at around $395, but we're in at $205. We plan to put about 50 grand into it, and that looks like we're about where we're going to end up. $255. We do have a cost of money, but that would be effectively our basis. So call it $255, $265. So that's good right now. As we're sharing with Chris before you guys got here. Haven't gotten to the Blackstone Gold yet, but we don't want to sell properties anymore. That's not really true, but we want to learn how to keep as many as we can for obvious reasons. Buying and selling is great, and you can make a nice chunk of money. And time, circumstance, how you borrow the money, the situation with the property. You may have a buyer that shows up and lets you get a check. All those factors to decide whether you keep or sell, unless you're distinctly going in for a rental, and we're going to talk about that more tomorrow. But this is a place that we said, this is a cool little piece of property. We're not living here. Let me make that really clear. So this isn't, I don't plan to bring my wife and kids, but I say, hey guys, look, we own that property. There you go.
I got the front one.
There you go. There you go. So, but remember guys, this is a widget. This is simply a widget. And this widget today is worth between $350, $375, and we could argue in that range. It's going to be worth more in 5 years, even if things go down. It's going to be worth more in 10 years, even if things go down. And a place that's on the water obviously has inherent value. So again, even if, and this is part of what we're talking about too, even if the condition of the property in 5 years, even if you have to go in and spend 25 grand, because the widget is where it's at. It's the widget itself is still worth more in 5 years because of where it's located. And again, in this case, with behind me, that's a huge. Come on, this is your backyard. I mean, Dan would take this in a heartbeat if he was a bachelor.
It's hard to keep me out of it.
So guess what? Does the house need work? Needs 50 grand to work.
Yes.
So this is a major. This would be way more than you guys would do, certainly in your first 2 or 3 deals, for a lot of reasons. Probably don't need to explain it again, but that's it. So we've got a strategy, really, the Blackstone Gold, which is going to be likely this work for equity, where we have it priced today. We want to sell it on a 5-year lease option. It's going to be priced today at, here's your price, here's your monthly. in 12 months, here's your price, here's your monthly. Every year it stair steps up a percentage over the course of 5 years. Very easily understood. There's no gray area. If you exercise your ability to buy it within any of these are the price points. And even if the market goes down, these are your price points. And if someone that comes in and writes us a check and cashes us out, we'll make $100 grand. Someone doesn't, we're okay with that. We're okay with that. The risk we run is someone cashes us out. And I don't know that I want that. We like this, but again,
We'll just put a clause in there. We can come back once in a while.
There you go.
We come back and fish here.
That actually would be kind of funny. So, okay, so that is the rub. That is the behind the scenes. That is exactly what's happening here. So, bless you. So, okay, so what makes sense here? So, I've been to this place now 5 times with contractors going through it. We've effectively accepted a bid. And I can tell you what we're going to do, but maybe I shouldn't. Maybe we should start out front and just kind of walk in. Let's just pick your brain. Yeah, let's just kind of start picking your brain. And so I guess let's go up front, but I'll just say this. I was telling Maurice last night, we took everyone out for an Irish breakfast.
Y'all did not invite me.
No, I said they invited you. He was supposed to call you. You didn't. You know what an Irish breakfast is, Chris? What's an Irish breakfast?
Jameson, shot of Jameson with maple syrup, orange juice, and a piece of bacon.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
I say, Maurice, what do we talk about as far as what do you do first in a renovation? What makes sense from a timing standpoint, chronology, to do? What do you do first when you're going to rehab a property? It's a very easy answer, and we talked about it. What does the buyer see first when they walk up to the property?
Well, you're going to see the outside, so you want to do the outside first.
That's it. So anytime you're doing it, you want to get the outside first. Now the neighbors see it. In this case, you don't really have neighbors, but you certainly want the outside to jump. In fact, we did I don't say a mistake, but we just did a property. We actually talked about showing you guys before and afters because it looks great. My wife picked out all the color schemes for everything now.
Right.
So no more of my taste. That doesn't
Wasn't no
work.
good anyway.
I already know that. So, but we painted, we put a brand new roof and a paint job on this house. She just picked out the ski. She didn't paint it herself. But at the end of the day, we lost a bunch of buyers. Or let me say it differently. We had a lot of buyers look at the property that didn't buy it because the outside wasn't aesthetically pleasing as it is today, right? So had we done that first, we'd have probably, yeah. So, all right. So let's go ahead and walk up front. And again, guys, floodgates open with questions, please.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
David with us on that?
Not yet.
Oh, no worries. Four people in a row. Number one, act like they're going to live there. And building it to a standard that it's got to be up here because that's what I would command at my own property, at my own house. And that's not the case. Price point, a scope of work that brings you to a level that you want it. If you're going for an absolute sale, you want that ARV, then it's got to be top notch. If you're doing this work correctly, this Blackstone Gold, where we want to try to maybe do a lease option over 5 years, Chris, can we do a little bit less work?
This place is so private.
Yeah, what you have is you have a situation where you have to do what I call the pertinent things. Pertinent things, roof, plumbing, foundation, electrical. Just
The
that
majors,
simple.
the
The major things. The other things you can kind of get around and finagle a little bit, like once we get in, you'll know what I'm talking about when you look at stuff like the walls and stuff like that. And he made a good point where if you're not going to stay in it, we understand what your standard is. You might walk in a house, you might walk in a really nice house and look at it and say, I wouldn't want to stay here. I don't like the way this room is set up. I don't like the way this floor plan is set up. I don't like the way these walls look, whatever the case may be. When you're dealing with these houses, and we come in, we've talked about a lot of houses in the past, and we've said, hey, what do we need to do? It makes a difference versus what you want to do. And what do you need to do? Like, so when we come in, we look at the house, from this angle, I'm looking at the roof, right? And when I first came up here, and I do this with all the houses, one of the first things I look at is the roof. And I looked at the roof and I said, that roof looks like it might be okay. You know? So now what do we mean by okay with the roof? The roof doesn't look, you got to understand that, like go look at some shingles. Go to Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever, and go look at what a shingle looks like. Okay? Because shingles have granules on them. And those granules is the life of the roof. Okay? So when you're looking from here to looking at the roof is not completely black and it's not like tore up. You don't see a bunch of missing shingles. Whoever shingled it didn't do a good job. They didn't know what the heck they was doing. But beyond that, you know, the roof looked like it's sustainable. You know what I'm saying? So now you can check that off your list. I don't have to put a roof on this house.
By the way, I was telling Netter, is her nickname, that on the backside there was actually a little bit of some. It looked like one of the beams or trusses, and it's where some of the settling was in the foundation. So
Yeah.
it was. But the important takeaway is that as long as the shingles are laying flat, looking good, and there's no visible signs of leaks.
Yeah, you don't want leaks. Now once I got closer, I'm gonna show you some things that you probably you can't see from this angle, and you can't see from the water. You got to go up on it and look. But you can't
Trying to
look
let
at the
him know
roof and
that
say,
we're
okay, I'll
live.
have to replace the roof. But once you get up to the house, there's a few things you want to look at. You want to look at the sockets, okay? Like when we go and if you go and you take a look up under the edge of the where it overhangs at, you'll see that there's a few leaks on the end, and the wood is rotted. Those are things you're probably going to have to repair because it's going to cause you problems in the long run, okay? And so even though the shingles look good and everything, it may just be a situation where they didn't put the shingles on right and the roof is leaking. Because just to let you know, that's a 3-tab shingle.
In our Facebook group.
And the 3-tab shingle is separated by 50-50 on the overhang. Okay? If you look at the lines on that roof, you should have straight lines at half the distance of the shingle all the way across. So when you're looking at that roof right there, I can probably tell you, okay, it might not be leaking because of the pitch of the roof, but I can tell you that the shingles are not on there properly. Is it going to affect your money on it? Probably not, because if you're going to lease it, if you're going to flip it, whatever, guess what? There's not a major leak on the roof. Let it go.
So let me add a couple things here. So one is that if you're trying to sell it and there's a concern from the buyer, there's no visible leaks right now. The roof doesn't look terrible, but it may have a shelf life on it. You can always put as a contingency. Again, this is really if you're trying to sell it, that at the time of you financing out and getting a mortgage, Mr. Buyer, if at that time, not today, at that time, the roof doesn't pass inspection by a licensed inspector, we agree as a seller to repair or replace as needed. So what it does is it gives the buyer some peace of mind. It also allows you not to come out of pocket today, hopefully not have to come out of pocket tomorrow, but if you have to come out of pocket tomorrow, you're getting ready to get a big chunk of money, so there's some offsetting justification, if you will. So, but again, if there's not ways that, you know, and I know everyone here has interest in this, Chris, so usually you can have some indication that there's some issues with the roof. It's usually pretty visible. So, okay, so what we're thinking here, by the way, I'm not gonna do anything with the driveway. We think we're got to get some sort of a sign that has the address, because it's really hidden. Although guess what? Some people may like it. It is like a little hidden, right? Now again, we're not living here. This is a widget, but and it's got features and benefits. You know, there's some traffic here that is noisy. But if I were living here, I don't know if I would like that. But I'm not living here. I can tell you what's going to sell this house. You haven't even been through the house, but what's going to sell it? Thank you. What else?
This property.
Yes.
The water in the property.
1 acre lot, thank you. On the water, concrete dock. And by the way, you haven't seen this yet. It's full of crap, so it's not really anything exciting to see. But it is a detached garage, power,
It's awesome.
water. It's a man's dream right here. We actually talked about making this a mother-in-law's quarters. But we thought, what would be more valuable to the end user, a mother-in-law quarters or a man, not a man cave per se, but a garage where workbench and just the whole nine. And if you're a fisher, which you probably are, that's where you clean the fish and do whatever you're going to do. So what's going to sell it, the house is almost secondary. And by the way, that back room we're standing, I'll tell you when we get there what we're planning, but those are where they're going to sell the house, right? So now what we're planning to do is we kind of go through, my wife's got a great color scheme, really great color scheme. We're going to, all of it's outside. By the way, the color scheme is this. It's a light tan paint with white trim and black shutters and black door. and I picked that out myself.
That was all Scott with the question, so
I was questioning her. Actually, she said, and then then we have a selection of coastal colors for the doors, depending on the roof color. But it's pretty good looking. Light tan, white trim, black shutters, black doors. So this will all be the white. They'll paint the garages, they'll paint the beams white. The rest of it is tan. They'll power wash that. But replace that front window, clean up all the crap, clear the brush away. What we decided to do here is take the fence down. Take the fence down and actually take that fence down too. That wood dog-eared, whatever it's called, fence right there. You take it down, you pull in your driveway, and it's just like, you don't. And if somebody wants one, then they can put up taking the poles down. We're gonna leave the side fence because, but we thought about trying to fix that. And why? If somebody wants it, they can do it. If they have a dog, they can fence in that little part. But we're gonna take that down. Paint that, and then we're gonna take those 2 palm trees out in the front because they're up against the house and just blocking it.
They're blocking the view of the house and the beautification of it.
That's exactly right. Now here's the other thing. Let's go ahead and walk in, and we'll go ahead and get started on the inside.
Well, one thing,
The two in the front there, yeah.
That's what your house is saying.
Yeah.
You need to come out.
Yeah.
the other thing is when you're looking at the outside before we go in,
Yes, sir.
when you're looking at the outside, you have to determine whether you want to even deal with anything on the outside. As far as like for this house, the whole house is vinyl siding, right? So you got to come in and say, well, you know what? Guess what? I can pressure wash that. You know what I'm saying? It's $3,000 to paint it. You know what I'm saying? $250 to pressure wash it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That is about the same number that the other
Yeah.
that came in, about $3,000.
Yeah.
Paint
Yeah.
$2,800, I think. So, and so by the way, well, were you finished? I didn't interrupt you.
No. You're
All right. Let's go ahead and walk in, guys.
Oh, real quick, I want to make one more point. The driveway is something that we have to address on this property.
Up here.
When you drive into a property, that is, this is not a house in a community,
Hey, guys.
right? The driveway in here is something that we have to think about. So
Right.
we got to open it. It's a little overgrown. We got to cut it
That's a
back a
good
little
point,
bit, and we got to get a pillar with a light on it that says this is the address. For a lot
So
of
people
reasons.
know there's a house here.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
got to know there's a house here, right? You guys drove past it.
Other
So,
problem
right.
is the other thing is the mailbox is here versus on the street.
Sure.
So that's a whole nother situation that if you of course, like you say, you're not living here,
Right.
but you don't want to make it hard for the people
No.
that's moving in.
Well, that's what I was starting to say. We thought about getting like not a vanity address thing, probably the way to say it, but something that like kind of shows that this is where it's at. And
Yeah, so they make these little poles where your letters
I
are
think
lit
you
up.
could put a pole or 2 on each side of the driveway with the light on top of it and the
number on it.
numbers
Yeah.
on the
That's it,
pole,
right there.
Yeah, that's
and
what
you're
we're
good to go.
And if somebody doesn't want that, they want privacy, they can take it down.
Yeah.
But they're gonna miss it if they don't.
They're not gonna take
They'll
that.
drive past the driveway if they don't have it.
Yeah.
By having no fences, no fences.
An onion.
Oh, they come in.
Love that. Anybody need onions?
It's got the boat slip. You got the garage with the power and the water.
Yeah, this is
boat
so
launches on the
good.
other side of the bridge. I mean,
Man.
this is the fish camp.
As soon as I saw this house, I'm like, oh man. Do I
No,
want
I'm,
this
I'm,
house?
all right, guys, let's go ahead and kind of go in the front here. So,
Like the parties you could throw out here,
now,
like
again,
open everything up.
come on up, guys. It's a mud room, so. Holy moly. Oh, I think just full of pills. Come on up here, please. So, again, if you said what's the purpose of this exercise, it's for you guys to really get a grasp on costs, what things cost. We talked about Molly's in Southern California, Chris. So there's going to be, I know there's some weird stuff in here. I'm preparing you, but she's in Southern California. Median price point is about probably 3 times what it is here. So
Yeah, so it's a
the
little
caliber and certainly the cost of her materials are going to be more. But we're going to show you what we're doing here. That's not why we're here. So let me be clear on that, and ask any questions you want. But I want you guys to pick his brain. What would you do? Because we actually are going to crunch some numbers and put some. And I'd like someone to take the notes on what we come up with. Thank you, Jeanette. Can I designate you to be the note taker? Well, as we go through, what I'd like you guys to do, maybe as a group, is kind of come up with costs for what each is going. What is the kitchen going to cost? We're planning on adding a bathroom over in this other corner, which is a great idea. We're planning on. I don't want to steal thunder here, but speaking of the mail guy having to come down the.
Oh no.
Right, so, but we've got we're going to knock the wall down in here, and but I guess pricing is and questions on processes and how to not be taken advantage of. That's really what I want to striving for. So glad to, I want to go through it. I'll show you, but please ask questions. And what would you do differently? And if you hate that idea, tell us. Again, this is really for the dialogue. So
Right.
okay,
Right.
so this was a room, and you guys can take turns because they're full of crap. But we had talked about a couple things here. But this is a great example of a potential money pit. So the first contractor that I met here wanted to knock this wall out and open up the house so you could walk down steps to get to the laundry room. It's a great idea, but you know how much that's going to cost? I'm not going to do that. They can just walk out here and do their laundry, right? Great example because it made sense. It's a great idea, but I'm not living here, so that
And I would
person,
have suggested that.
you would have or wouldn't have.
I would have and so knowing that. So here's the thing about this house.
Chris has never seen this before today. Just
Before
FYI.
today, I haven't seen this yet, and I walked through it briefly. This is probably the third potential laundry room that I've seen. Okay, so this I didn't know this was a laundry room, but they had a laundry room / bathroom off the kitchen. Right?
Yeah.
Now you have another room in the back there. I showed you they cut the room in half.
Right.
They put a wall up there, and I said to myself, I would make this the laundry room because it's inside.
Did you really say
I said, I said, to myself, you know, just like when I walked in and saw you on the wall, I said, I just can't get up there.
Sneaky guy.
But that was before I saw this.
Yeah.
So now that I see this, that kind of changed my perspective
Okay.
on, you know, and on how you use the rooms on the inside and what you arrange. Now, like you say, yeah, people, you can just come outside, you know, or another option is I think this.
Well, all right, see, but now you just learned some hard lessons, Jeanette, didn't you?
Yeah,
I did,
this
but
backs up to that, right?
Let's walk through, and then you
That's
tell
what
me
I
at the end of the
wanna
day if you agree. But and we'll ping pong it here, so I'll keep going back and forth. You weren't quite done.
Yeah,
Finish that.
this backs up to the patio. So the other option is just to put the door on the back side, and you're still on the inside.
See, now there.
That would make more sense because all you're doing is the door, not
That-
door and
Right.
steps.
There you go.
I would say, as a woman, I never want to carry a basket outside.
And to go back inside, and if it's cold or whatever, yeah.
Rain, no.
Now,
Or if you're in your
doesn't that
underwear.
Touche. Point taken. Now, but now these are again. That's why. Now there's a bed up here. There's a mattress up here. So some kid. Yeah, some kid. So then the other
What?
suggestion was, hey, well, why don't we finish that off and make that
make
a
a
little
room.
loft?
Great law.
It's a great idea. Or is it?
Depends on how much room.
We don't have a room. We don't want it. I said no. I said, hey,
These older
get
houses
rid of the
probably
crap,
need one.
whitewash this room, leave the workbench, and we're out. Now,
Question on that.
if you disagree, Maurice, come on. Give it what you
I
got.
need to see the rest of it.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Maybe I'll have it
Question
even
on
say
that loft situation.
Yes.
Okay, so a bedroom has to have a closet, okay, but it doesn't have to have a door, right? Feel me? Stairs going up the side of this wall here, right to the loft. Now you put a small closet in there. Now you added a bedroom to the house. What about the value?
Yeah, sure. Well,
Because now
so
we're
that-
looking.
that's-
Now we're
that's-
looking at the money aspect of it, what
That-
return on investment,
I'm gonna
And
agree
it
with you,
doesn't
Chris.
take that much to do.
and it doesn't take much to do that.
Better? I gotta work on you.
She had a whole house looking like a
Tell you
mansion.
what, she did a flip recently. She was honest with her, said that she spent too much on it. It didn't
Right.
work out as she had hoped.
Yeah.
So
I've
part of it.
done a lot.
Yeah, you've done more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, the
Yeah,
idea
so
is to do
she's not a
a
newbie, but point is that what I said to her is that it's easy to put too much money in.
yeah.
And this is really, I didn't even think about this till we walked in. This would be a case in point. And hey, I'm not saying that you're not going to win at the end. It may make more sense to the long-term play, but my thoughts were no for those reasons. Because so then let me ask you,
early
Chris,
side of it.
total swagging, but what would it cost to put the steps in? I mean, I guess there's two sets of steps. You could come, if you could poke through the living room here, that would be one. And then I guess finishing off would be two, but tell me you're not.
But the steps coming out of the steps coming out, that's like a simple fix. Like the hardest part of that is cutting the door.
Less
You're
than
not-
$1,000?
Yeah, less than $1,000 because you're not
Then you gotta put
you're not
flooring
cutting through concrete.
in. Okay.
Okay, so you're cutting through. It's easy to put a door in. You put a pre-hung door. You just cut through the wall, insert. Now you got a door. Put some trim around it.
You put probably that looks like what to be a 3-step riser right there. You can use a wood riser because you're on the inside. You don't have to build concrete steps or anything like that. Wood riser.
What about up top? Would you finish? Would you guys finish? Reese, would you finish up top? I know you haven't really looked at it yet. Jennifer, would you finish up top?
You would.
There's a good argument, man, at the extra bedroom.
See, I see opportunity is what I'm looking at. As a contractor, I'm seeing opportunity. I see the opportunity to add a bedroom to a house that's on the water. Take a 3-bedroom house in the same situation and a 4-bedroom house in the same situation. And you got to do a cost analysis.
Throw this in the mix. We haven't concluded yet if this has Airbnb potential. I just don't know.
Bro,
I can tell you what
that's
I think.
great.
Well, you know,
Halloween
I don't know.
decoration.
We talked about Airbnb bus this morning, but this is not your vanilla, you know, house in the middle of the neighborhood. This is
Airbnb tents.
one more time. Well, I understand that, but
Tents.
Well, here's the
could we see? But that's a totally.
They're
You know,
luxurious.
we obviously have costs. We've got payment, utilities, taxes, insurance, mowing the grass, spraying for the bugs, doing all the things that go on the property. I guess we could try to Airbnb and see what the response is, but that's a different direction. It's a different pattern, which we want to keep the place. But again, to the topic at hand, would we get more for an Airbnb? Would it make it more appealable? Would we be able to charge more if we had the extra bedroom?
well, I bet you would, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Trying to do a short term versus doing a long term, if you renovate it differently.
That's a great
Right.
question. Chris, you want to answer that?
What's the question?
Well,
Once you renovate, how does that affect the renovation if you're trying to put it out for a short term market versus a long term? It's two different.
Well, yeah, it does affect the renovation. Matter of fact, it affects the overall cost of the construction of the house. And the reason being is because
for sure.
So, 2 things. One, cost analysis. Okay, what am I getting in the area? Where the market is, sale versus rent. Okay, all of these cost analysis you have to do. The other thing, demographic. Who am I targeting?
Right.
Okay, am I targeting someone who's going to live here? Am I targeting someone who's going to use it as investment property? Whatever the case may be. So all of that plays into when I look at this room and say, okay, I'm gonna just leave it like that, and it'll be a room. Well, what kind of room is it? It's gonna be a washroom? Is it gonna be? Can I put the washroom somewhere else? Because now you gotta think out all of it. You can't just say I'm gonna make this a bedroom without knowing where you're gonna put the water heater and the washing machine and all of that stuff. So there's a cost analysis in it. It's not just adding the door and the stairs. It's not as simple as it looks.
Let's make a margin though. Let's come back and revisit because after the ladies see the house, not the guys, the ladies. Then I want to get your opinion
And
after
you
you're
have
done.
to think about where you're wanting to cut the door through because if you take out all of your wall space in your living room, then where are you going to put your furniture?
Well,
It's got a weird. It's got a little bit of a choppy layout.
It's really choppy, yeah.
But the other part is I don't know if that backs up to the patio, Chris. I don't know that. I don't know that I think it does.
You don't think so?
I don't know that.
No, it
I
backs
don't,
up to something else.
Yeah,
It backs up to something else.
Right, backs up to the bathroom.
Oh, it backs up to that room that had the room that had the bathroom.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if that's the case, I would still do it because think about it.
You could just go through the bathroom.
You could just go through that bathroom to get to the.
It's better than going outside.
There's plumbing right on the other side of the wall for where the bathtub or the shower is.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw where the tub was there, but the plumbing is on this wall.
Plumbing is on that wall.
Yeah, it's on this wall, the right hand wall. So if you open it up right here, you're not. Remember, we're not putting that bathroom there.
If you put a
It's all in the scheme of how you lay it out.
Come on up, guys.
Going on in.
Going on in.
Going in the haunted house. All right, come on up. All right, so what you guys are going to see here is it's an interesting place for a couple reasons. It has a very masculine feel. There's a lot of wood panel. Actually, my wife had a great idea, and I got to give her all the credit. I hope she's watching this. She doesn't watch these things. There's a certain phrase for when you paint wood white. No, I mean maybe. There's like a slap something. Shiplap. Thank you, shiplap. So, yeah. So, but here's what we're gonna do. And where's Chris?
He's still in that room.
He's still
trying to figure out what to do.
Listen,
I'm sorry.
so this guy, this was a really, and again, this is to share the lessons. Met up here with the contractor, and we're thinking, okay, this is a nice little front porch, right? So we started talking about what to do. Now, ultimately, we are going to replace all the screens. I had a cat in here. And they said, "Why, man? I'm sitting on the front porch. I want a fan." I said, "Well, that's a great idea. I mean, I want a fan too, right?" And I said, "Well, we're not. If you have that backyard, who's sitting on the front porch?" Right? In my opinion. Well, maybe. So we're gonna replace the screens. This is gonna be black paint, black door, the light tan with the white trim, and new screens. Obviously replacing lights, replace the window, and no fan. If someone wants to put a fan, they can plug one in.
Well, I was just gonna say, if I were to pick which side, so I would probably sit out there in the mornings and here in the evenings because the sun's
Because the way the sun
Okay.
sets.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool right now.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a guy, so maybe I'm just dead wrong. I mean, I'm okay to say I'm wrong.
Me.
No, the wood here is awesome.
Well, I can't wait for you. There's a couple rooms where it's really awesome.
You could
I mean, really,
pressure
where
wash
you,
it and paint it
it's
up.
like you can see it being, they put some money into it.
I think it could be awesome.
I'm playing devil's advocate.
Gotta
So,
have one.
you gotta have one. Devil's advocate. And I know we're talking short term, flip, whatever the case may be. Keep it. Me personally, I'm gonna tell you what I would do. The truss, because I remember I always look at the roof, so I'm looking at how the truss is laid out and what I can do under the truss. You know, I will put a wall here, close that off, and open that up and make that part of that bed.
That's what I was thinking.
That's what I would do.
That's what I was thinking.
And so,
You tell them the truth, Tracy.
or I would do the exact same thing.
'Cause you
put
could really-
a wall there, and I would make whatever porch, whatever you want to make, and make the door that, and I would make this, close this off, and make it part of the living room. And the reason why, because the living room is really small. And so when you come in a house, right? Think about the newer houses, and we're not trying to create.
By the way, I haven't. Just to be clear, I haven't accepted the bid yet.
Okay.
He wants it first.
Just letting you know.
Right, yeah, we're working on it.
So I had some again, just not disclosing, but first thing we did, there was some foundation. This house is probably 50 years old. Chris and I were talking. The topography of the land goes down to the water, and it sits on notice how we walked up steps.
Yeah.
It's elevated here to go with the topography of the land. When you get down to the downstairs, you'll see that you walk down steps. Over 50 years, the rainwater has kind of eroded, so that they had a little bit of got vertigo walking through the house, right? So we spent about we're in $7,000 in the foundation right now on a $10,000 bid. Chris, when I told him we did foundation work, he said, "Oh, did you really?" I said, "That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say."
Yeah.
Right now, there is one room I'm not happy with, and so we've held back $3,000. He asked for more last week, and I was here. I was here last week early. I had another crew come by and get underneath it and take pictures and stuff, and he asked for another draw, and I said yes originally, and then I said no, I can't. I need, it's just what do you need to draw for? You don't have any materials. You just, if you need to pay your guys, that's your problem. I didn't say that, but he understood. So, but you'll always want to hold back some money. Don't hold back some money. So, $48,000.
What?
That's how crazy that can
Yeah. Because foundations are really, like I said, one of the few things in a house that if the foundation is not right, nothing above is going to.
But you also can get people that take you to the cleaners if you're not.
Yeah, but foundation work can be really expensive. As ramjack.
But see, but here, now I gotta make this point. I was just saying, I told Eric you come pick up his draw tomorrow for this, and I just said we need to rethink. That's interesting. And again, if the intent here is long term, which again, it's a widget that has some things I like. It doesn't mean I'm falling in love with this house. I don't fall in love with any house. You guys will get there fairly quickly unless you end up moving into it as possible. There's a wasp back there, so just be aware. So ultimately, if we were to potentially make another bedroom in that room, and then you could extend this, or almost make this you can't walk through a bedroom to get to a bedroom technically, but functionally, kid in a heartbeat. In fact, the kid that's sneaking out is the one staying up here. That's what Dan used to be. He used to be the kid sneaking out at night. So, but they were suggesting, and Reese says that she saw it just before Chris saw it. Chris tried to take her credit, but no. They said wall this off here, open up that room, make another bedroom, or you said make it a bigger bedroom.
I would make it a lot. I would make it a master bedroom.
Like a
is what I would.
master. That's what I would.
Because this house don't really have a true master bedroom.
Unless we put that bathroom up front, which is the plan.
But the size of the bedroom is, and you guys have, when we walk through, you'll see what I'm talking about. Because see, for me, it's not just. I walk in a lot of new houses now, and I say to myself, I would not buy this house. You know what I'm saying? I would not buy this, and the reason is because you're talking about the lady tried to sell me a house the other day, brand new house, and I almost thinking about buying it because I liked that it had a little bit of room. The house wasn't close enough. But I'm sitting there and I said, well, what's square footage? She said 1886. I said 1886. Okay, so now I'm going to pay $380,000 for 1,400 square feet. Nah, my house is 1,500 square feet. It's older. It's not wide open, but it's, you know what I'm saying? It's larger, and I don't pay, $2,500 a month. So I'm looking at the size of the room. My master bedroom, same size that one. You know what I'm saying? So when I come in and I'm looking at these houses, it's not only just the and like if I'm the contractor and I'm talking to you and I talk to Scott or whatever, I'm giving you suggestions, but I'm not telling you, well, look, do this here so I can stay in it. I'm saying, okay, well, I'm looking at how people look at these houses and stuff like that, and when you come and you got kids and you want to come to your master bedroom and this might be your oasis. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if Scott's trying to sell you on this house as a woman, the master bedroom, the bathroom, and the kitchen, those 3 things.
100%.
You see what I'm saying? So
you like the extra. Netter, do you like the bedroom idea?
Well, I haven't seen the whole house, so I can't make a determination on something because you
Netter,
may
we'll put
have
you on the
this.
spot.
That's okay.
I would
I'm saying until I see the whole thing,
it's hard to say.
I can't make a determination because I might come up with another idea.
Definitely.
That y'all are saying. I'm always on board of making your living room bigger, always. So
let's keep in mind this is the living room.
and just remember.
However, there is a family room, so keep that in mind also.
Living room.
This is the living room-ish. This is living room-ish, yeah. But it's also a family room down there, so that counts.
It's smaller. It's not bad. It's cute.
What is this? This is the living room?
Walk it
Oh,
out.
it has
This is a small living room.
Or is that real? I wonder if they put a drop ceiling over.
There's drop ceiling on all these rooms down here.
Because
It's possible back then.
Is that sheetrock there though?
How is this ever popular? It's crazy.
All right, so
because it's on the
we
water.
should have lights in here. We should have lights.
No bug.
I don't know.
All right,
why
listen.
they would do that.
All right, here's what we did decide. Well, as of now,
I want to hear this.
You want to turn that
You
off?
decided to keep the drop ceiling.
No, yes. Exactly. And you know what's crazy is it's really nice. Or actually, well, we're getting rid of that. But what we talked about doing is knocking this wall out here.
And opening it up to the kitchen.
So, and then, okay, so.
When you walk in, if that wall isn't there, you can see straight to the wall.
Right to the back. Yep, right to the back.
That's
So,
a good one.
okay,
I would do that.
So, all right, now,
Wow.
thank you, Molly. So my wife thought, in fact, what I thought was great is this middle room here, the middle bedroom. She said it's all like this wood. You paint 2 sides white and leave 1 wood. Oh man, I thought that was such a cool idea. I remember no taste here, no argue here. So, but okay. So question one. Already answered drop ceiling. Question 2. There were smokers in here.
Yeah, you can tell from the ceiling.
Yeah, so it's a lot better than it was when I first walked in. Question 2, agree with wall knockdown? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Question 3, what do we do with this?
I would say
The
that
wood,
you use it
the wood.
in some rooms somehow, even if you cut it in smaller pieces, because
But don't keep it.
always. Oh no, absolutely.
No,
keep it.
she's saying replace
I'm
what you lose
saying-
with that wall and use it somewhere else in the house.
Use it
He's
somewhere else in
asking
the
as a
house,
whole.
because one thing that I always like to do is save something from the original house to leave a character
That's pretty cool.
that is here.
I like that.
I always do that, and it's always turned out really good. And you may have to rethink it even after you get it all torn down and start. You may rethink it. If it's not doing anything but say, do a ceiling in a bathroom or the wall behind the toilet, something like that so that you use some part of what is already here. This is beautiful wood.
It is.
It is beautiful. If
So what
if
do
you
you
don't do anything but salvage it and take it to a salvage place where somebody else can buy it and use it.
Right. Here's the
Don't
question
throw it
though.
away.
And this is one of the things you got to think about when you come in a situation like this. Okay, so the question is, what do you do with these walls? Okay, so even if we take this wall down,
Yeah, my
you
question
still
is,
have 3 other walls
what
that
do you-
look like it.
what do you do?
What do you do with it? Now, here's the thing. If you say, well, listen, it's not bright enough, we need to brighten it up. Some people may like that old wood look, but if I'm gonna be honest with you, you don't want that old wood look on all the walls. Even if you did one wall, like say if we just kept this wall, that wood look, you want to do the rest of them in something else. Now here's the part that people never realize when they're thinking about this. When you're talking about redoing these walls, say if you say, well, we're gonna re-sheetrock, all right? They have 3/8 sheetrock, all right? 3/8 sheetrock is on about that thing, right? You go over 3/8, but here's the thing. You want to figure out how it's going to affect your trim, okay? Because when you do your trim, you can do your sheetrock on here and then lose the depth of your trim, and your house looks crazy. You know what I'm saying? Some people may not care. I went to Costa Rica this year or last, whatever it was. I travel all the time. I went to Costa Rica and we stayed in the Airbnb. And I just went around and I kind of well, first thing when we walked in the Airbnb, I'm looking for the kitchen. The entire kitchen was outside. It was covered. It was a big covered area, but the whole kitchen was outside. In the rooms, nothing was perfect. I nitpicked it to death, okay? But it was covered. You know what I'm saying? And we stayed there, and it was on the water. You could walk down to the ocean. So what I'm saying is, some people may not look at the depth of your trim to your wall. You know what I'm saying? They might, well, somebody went and did something right
That
there.
was the sheetrock on it.
Right, when the sheetrock was on it. But then you got other, if you're trying to sell it, if it's a sellable thing, then somebody may come in and say, hey, yeah,
So,
look like they
so by the way,
covered some up.
that might be the difference between a long-term lease option buyer and a flip buyer.
And a flip buyer,
that
right.
has a bank loan in their back pocket that's looking at every other house in the neighborhood, right?
Yes.
I'm not suggesting that you cut corners or
Right,
short
right.
What I'm saying is there are decisions like that and like the ones that we've been discussing that will make a difference in what you're spending. The question is, what is your exit and does it justify it, right? And that's what we want you guys to think about. So I'm going to try to keep us on a decent pace because. But the question I'm asking is, what do the ladies think about these walls as a whole? Do you sheetrock over them? Do you paint them?
Never.
Do you leave them?
Sheetrock. I take them off and sell.
Okay, so that's a piece of point. Take them off
Take work, but
versus going over. It's a lot more work to do that, and it's more. To Scott's point, it's more expensive to do that. It's more expensive to just say,
Too much money.
yeah, it's more expensive to take them off and put the sheetrock than it is just to
But
sheetrock over.
This is true.
That's the thing you have
By
to
the
keep
way,
in mind.
by the
Not
way,
That go the part right
Let me say-
there.
Yeah,
We're not
let
living
Let
here.
me say something else, by the way. So remember the price point, okay?
Right.
And look, this isn't I think the area of town. What would you call this area of town, Chris? It's not a bad area.
No, it's not a bad area. Not where this. No,
No,
this is good.
but it's a lot of commercial up here. You're not in the neighborhood. And again, I might be dead wrong, but I happen to think somebody buying this is wanting to be on the river and probably take use of it. It could be something totally different, but how we get there is really maybe an opinion. No, I love it. You got a passion. I can feel it, which I think is really great, by the way. So how we get it is to me at this point secondary. My question is the end result, and Marisha, I'd like your take as well. Do you see a value in if this were just sheetrocked, however it was there, and painted, or the wood left, or the wood painted?
So I guess
It's really only
I'm
one
curious
of those three
as to
options.
how much it would cost and how would it affect this? So is this gonna be all the way out to where this is? I
No,
think
you get the
that's,
little what?
Profile.
Yeah.
Well, if you use 3/8 sheetrock, you're gonna lose about that much. You're gonna use about that much. You're gonna lose about half of the width of this trim. Is what you're gonna lose, and that's gonna be on all of your door jams. But stuff
so then this is gonna stick out further.
just on about that much.
Guys, I gotta tell you, I need to make a statement just based on where I'm
I don't wanna like keep hitting my
well,
hand on it.
I'm teaching the class, so I need to tell you I think we're focusing on the wrong things. Look, I understand. I understand where you guys are coming from, but the reality is to go through all the work to take these walls out, Netter's passion notwithstanding, and whether the sheetrock sticks out to the trim or to, you know, those things, I gotta tell you, I think are not what we should be focusing on as a whole, okay? Because remember, you come into this place and you got a $50,000 budget. Now, that doesn't mean you can't spend more, but you're usually borrowing what you need. Remember, I don't want any money out of your pocket. So I don't want you to borrow 50 and need 60. That defeats the purpose. Borrow 60, and by the way, I'd rather you borrow 60 and use 50 and put 10 in your pocket. We haven't talked about one of my favorite terms, over financing, right? So, by the way, it's tax-free money. Most people don't recognize that. We'll talk about that a little bit tomorrow. But again, you got to focus on first and what is the exit, right? That does have it. If you're flipping it, there's going to be some difference in selectivity of the buyer, right? So those things. But again, as I walk through, I know that that's not our intent.
Okay, so then what's the option for the wall then?
Well,
if you don't,
you sheetrock over it. You could
paint it.
What if you don't sheetrock over it?
Or paint it.
Okay. Question on the painting though. Depending on the
You
paint.
do that, yeah, because we're talking about the brightness of the wall now.
I like the wood.
Okay, then I would say paint.
With the
Then I would
paint,
say
all of these lines have been caulked, and depending on what this caulking is,
It's gonna be hard to get that off.
Well, the paint may not stick to it if it's silicone.
Yeah, but that's an easy.
So,
That's an
I
easy
guess
fix.
that's-
That's an easy
All right.
fix.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right,
By the way,
Okay.
it also, you know what also
Okay.
helps?
One
Dan,
of the
please.
things.
All right, so I'm gonna read. We're going
Down a whole
spending
rabbit hole. Yeah,
money you don't
let's
need to
move
spend.
on.
What you do in this room is, this is the biggest, are we getting rid of this or not?
Yes,
That's the big
get
one.
rid of this
That's the
wall.
big
If we're getting rid of that, the rest of the room,
Yep.
now are we putting a door that goes to this room?
You need to see the rest of it.
You
Because
need to
if
see
we
the other
do
half.
there, right? Well, no,
Well,
but that's half a
hours.
doorway. You got half a doorway cut in there.
But actually, if I was gonna put the door there, I would actually put it here. So see, you don't see. Somebody mentioned put furniture or something like that earlier.
That's true.
Okay, so you don't want to put it in the middle because now you're losing too much wall.
But this is also, when this wall's out, it really isn't a living room, right? You're walking into the entry of the house, and now you've got this huge great room of the kitchen.
By the way,
That
that
goes
is
down to the
such a
true
good idea,
living
knock
room,
this wall
right?
out.
Yeah.
The true living room will be down by the river. So really, you would kills this room, fill the gaps, and paint it white, and it would be.
I say paint
The
it
sitting
white.
room, call it the sitting room.
Come on this way, guys.
Yeah, sitting room.
The sitting room. Yeah, you put a couple of regular armchairs in here. Yeah.
The cigar table.
You're good.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, all of that. Yeah.
And it looked great.
Come on, guys. Sit out there.
Actually, I like this room.
Marici's she's got the floor. Come on, guys. Marici, what's your idea here?
So I was looking at the bedroom, it's a little small, right? So most people don't use the front porch. So that's why I was saying, take out that wall and put a nice window, maybe double windows out there, and then move this wall forward to make that bedroom a little bigger.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
Did you do it?
I would agree with that.
So say it again, so I'm clear.
So I would knock this wall out and bring it in, and even if you brought it to here, because you're gonna gain that space by knocking this wall out and going further out.
So I like it. My radar says you're moving two walls. I like it, but it just is it just seems.
Because with the furnace being in there, that's not enough closet space
You're
for
right.
that to really be a bedroom.
You're right.
So
You're
if
trying
you
to
really
put the
want
closet
it to
space
be a
up in the room.
bedroom,
That's what I was thinking, like, how do you even call that a bedroom?
Well, that's why I had an issue when I walked through was how do you define the bedrooms here? This is really this one and the one down there is the only real
By
bedroom. I
appraisal
saw.
standards, 8-foot ceilings, closet space.
Mhm.
I count that's bedroom by appraisal standards.
Yeah, by appraisal standards.
So
Yeah.
if I'm being honest, the middle room there, we had some of the floors level, raised up, and, when I was in the first or the second time, I started feeling claustrophobic. I'm serious, I don't feel like I was,
Really?
yeah, I started thinking about that sinkhole, the guy the whole, I'm thinking, I'm gonna
Oh, jeez. It's like a closet.
He also shaking his head, because if you're moving two walls, that is massive to me, and I would probably,
creating a lot of
I would potentially, if that was you doing it, and your first one, I might argue with you.
okay,
But-
so then
but-
there's
but
another
I
idea.
like what you're saying, because this is a small room, and there's no room to put a closet.
There isn't. So maybe you can make that a bathroom
For
possibly?
this room.
For this
And
room.
yeah, now
Make that a master
that's the other thing I had that wrote down in here. That when I went over there and I noticed that how small it was, I said, you know what? This
probably to be the master bedroom.
Like a Jack and Jill, so they can
yeah.
get to the bathroom from this direction or that one.
So what happens when we take out a bedroom?
That's where I was going. And that's the variable, because we talked about potentially adding, well, down there and then here, but,
If there's a bedroom there, then they can also use this bathroom.
yeah. We're definitely, this
And
is a
then it
good
gets-
exercise. These are significant changes, but at the end of the day, I like the logic. Ultimately, it boils down to cost. In fact, if you're not living here.
I wanna hear what.
Well, maybe not, but, well,
you're
I'm leaning that way, but at the end of the day, there's been some valid points, but again, the numbers have to make sense, and, you know, and that's what scares me.
So what are the numbers?
So we paid $205, I'll get you just in a second. We paid, and I guess this doesn't matter, that we're on this, but, we paid $205, we'll be putting, we got about a $50,000 to $60,000 budget on this. Really 50 is where we're coming at, you know, kind of what we're shooting for. And then the ARV is gonna be between 350 and 375. It's really 375, but we use 350 to kind of base our numbers. But again, we really don't wanna sell this immediately.
Right.
Interest rates, market, is what it is. I just call it influx, rebalancing, but ultimately we think this has some unique stuff. So I think the intent is to try to maybe put somebody in here, and maybe give them that 5-year window of time. I don't see us just purely renting it. I found those difficult, where you spend all this time and money to fix up a house to make $300 a month in cash flow. That's a tough time with that. However, right? So now there's variation to that, which is what this Blackstone goal is intended to be. So those are the numbers. The plan, again, if somebody showed up and wrote us a big check, we'd probably take it begrudgingly, honestly, begrudgingly, because I'm not attached to the house. I don't get attached to the widget, but we think it has some future potential. So those are the numbers. And again, you start knocking walls and move. I mean, I like it, makes sense to me, but
Is it in the budget? Is the question? Is it in the budget?
So my question is, how does
Austin.
So yeah, the thinking, like Scott was saying, is like shifting your mind a little bit. I know I'm not saying that you guys are watching HGTV all the time, but you watch some of those remodels, right? You're like, wow, like everything is. So you have to, like they said, you have to know where your area is. You have to know what your target market is, what's your exit strategy. That plays hugely into what you're doing, and then also you're coming in here with a fine eye to look at things. Okay, well, I would love for this to come out. Okay, that's a great idea, but do you need to do that, right? And I would say, like Scott said, probably not. Especially for this exit strategy you're utilizing. If this is your own home, yeah, by all means. I'd love to expand that room, but ultimately you're looking for areas to add more cost instead of looking at areas of how can I save more on the cost. And that's kind of like shifting, and it's not because you're trying to do shoddy work.
Right.
You want to do a quality job, right? So I'm not trying to say hey, go in here and really patch it together, band-aid it, but trying to find areas that you can use instead of trying to always find areas that you're trying to add more cost. Because when you're moving walls, that's a lot of cost.
So then tell me this, then would it be better, because I would think you want top dollar, right? So to have top dollar, you're gonna need something that is similar to what's already out there, right?
That's if I'm flipping it today.
That's if you're selling it to a retail buyer.
Or even if I'm renting to buy my own, right? So would it make more sense to maybe not move the wall, but at least make that a bathroom?
Yeah. The only thing I want to tell you that you haven't
So
seen
that-
yet is that this
okay.
front room,
Uh-huh.
we have plans to put a bathroom in the closet. We haven't been down there.
Oh,
So
okay.
maybe, I tell you what, let's look at that.
Okay, let's look at that.
And then, yeah, we'll keep a good face.
But I want to make one comment. I want to make one comment about this.
Hey guys,
I want to make one comment about this room. So when you're coming in the houses, right, and you're looking, and yeah, you want to save money and all of that. There's certain things that you want to look for as far as a potential issue in the future. You want to avoid all potential money pit issues. Let's say that anything that may be later down the line, I'm gonna end up having to spend a bunch of money on this. Okay, so when I first came in this room, one of the things I saw, which I knew was a patch on the wall ceiling right there. You don't worry about stuff like that. Okay, stuff like that, easy fix. Go to crow's foot, redo the whole ceiling with knockdown, whatever the case may be. When you see stuff like this, see this hump right here? that is the sign that there was a leak somewhere. Okay, right here, there was a sign that there was a leak somewhere. This leak might have been condensation from the unit. Okay, so we know that much. This right here, this probably was a leak from the ceiling. Now, you gotta ask yourself a question, is that something that I have to fix? Or is that something that just, you know what I'm saying, I can leave there because of what my exit strategy is? Right now, I'm just, for me personally, okay, if I'm the contractor and I'm coming in and you say, well, what can I do about that? I'm gonna say nothing. Am I wrong?
No, you're looking
I mean,
right.
if
By the
Scott
way,
asks me what to do about it, I'm gonna say nothing.
Yeah, we talked about actually just, we thought it would make it easier just to take it down and redo the ceiling.
And you can, and that's, I mean, it depends on what you're doing. Right, rather than fix that, you can just come put a whole brand new ceiling in.
Yeah. By the way, a couple of things here. I wasn't, when we were deciding what house to take you guys to, we like this because of Riverboat. We weren't sure. We have a couple that are in process and location wise, but I get to, this couldn't have been a better selection for you guys to see. Because let me ask a question. Do you see how it could be very easy to overspend money?
Yeah.
Look at all the, and by the way, if you're by yourself or talking to, it's easy to talk to the contractor. This is a good man right here, but if I didn't know that, I'd be real careful wanting to bounce all my ideas off him, because the more ideas you have, the more money he makes, right? So, just want to point that out. That's why you gotta have a plan.
we're in room 2.
Yeah, we're in room 2.
You
gotta
stretch the elasticity
By the
of
way,
the budget.
but I also don't want to. What do we say about major? Is this a major?
Yeah.
It's a major.
Okay, are you gonna do a major right away? Marcy?
No.
Okay, so
How's
keep
the
that in
major?
mind. I don't want you guys, if I took you to Wheat Road right now, we went to Wheat Road, you would say, you'd have it's a whole different vibe. It's a whole different vibe. You wouldn't, I don't want you to be overwhelmed, because you can find, where you find great buys is when the property is distressed. Doesn't have to be in this condition to be a good buy. But I don't want you to get spooked out here. In fact, I want to make sure that we don't go too far in the other direction, that you don't want to pull the trigger on a deal that needs a light rehab. Because that's where you're going to find good deals. So, but I just want to point out how easy it is to start spending to the point where you get in trouble. Second thing is some standards, and let's keep going. Some standards for us: always replacing plugs and switches. Always, you want a white, typically a light gray offset. Ceiling fans, everyone likes ceiling fans. They're not terribly expensive.
I don't know what your plans is on this, but I just want to bounce it off of them.
Go ahead.
Okay. And you're running a lot of old houses that have paneling walls. Question is, what do you do when you're trying to get through a house? Okay, because I'm gonna throw a real hard negative in there for somebody who say, let's just paint it. This is white silicone. If you don't know about white silicone, I mean, this clear silicone. Guess what? Paint's not going to stick to this.
We can get paint, but I can just tell you.
But I'm just saying, I don't know what
This
you're
is,
going to paint.
that is nice. This would be, if this is the cheapest you can get, I think this one is down here. No way you ever paint this or save this.
Yeah.
So frankly, what we talked about in this room is just replace the ceiling, probably either taking this down or just sheetrocking over it.
Yeah.
And then you have the paint, you got a new floor. It's gonna be a brand new bedroom.
It's going to be brand
With
new.
a nice ceiling fan in here,
That's a big save right there.
This is the money saver.
All right.
Scott.
Sure.
Let them go real quick back there.
Okay.
Did you know
I
that?
did, I wrote it down. Anything else other than that?
Premium
No.
ceiling fan, guys.
You
You
can
can find
find
these
it.
people.
Where's the breakfast?
Oh, yeah.
Where is the breakfast?
Right.
Oh, it's here. It's here. Where it ought to be.
Now, before we get too far, Chris, hey Chris,
Yo.
hey ladies and James, we've walked by the electrical panel, okay?
Okay.
Now, I had an electrician here, he felt that it was actually an upgraded panel, didn't feel that there was anything wrong with the panel. You know what's wrong with the panel? Is it looks unsightly.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about, and you guys might chuckle, but we talked about. He said there was nothing wrong with it. He said I could clean it up really nicely, and he said I can go get new one of these and fill it out. Now again, no shortcutting. I don't want anything I'm saying to be mistaken for cutting corners, but you got a perfectly good electrical panel that is upgraded.
200 amp.
But it just looks like it's been here because they smoke cigarettes,
Yeah.
like chain smoke inside
That's
without
smoker's
windows
white
open,
right there.
right?
Smoker's white.
I wanted to point that out because guess what? Now, rewire house, it can get to be a lot, but in most cases, if you're just rewiring, you're $3-4 grand. Tell me I'm crazy, but depending on the electricity, we got some quotes on Wilson not too long ago with and that's kind of where they came. But it depends on the extent. But at the end of the day, it's a major. It's a scary major, right? And so you always want to pay attention to what the electric panel is. And we're not going to go through the workbooks today, but the workbook goes through all of these things as we go. So let's just take a quick peek in this room and let's keep going here. This is the room, by the way, that my wife thought. Now she's not in here, to be fair, but we looked at putting a closet. We just couldn't put one that would make sense without taking up. A bed wouldn't even fit here, right? Can't really make closet there. The only thing my wife suggested in pictures is that we paint these two walls the shiplap, right, the white, and leave this one the wood. So kind of offsetting colors. I thought that was a great idea. I looked at some pictures that she found. I said that looks really neat to me, even though I don't have any taste. So what does my opinion matter? You guys like that? By the way, my wife's never seen it, so she's just going to give me ideas
My
for
only
pictures.
concern is that this is different from that one.
Yeah.
So these are
Yeah, this is different.
Yeah.
I don't like this wall actually, but
I don't
listen.
either.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw a nugget out there for you.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to see what that is.
I know, I like that.
So you're talking about making this a bedroom, right? It being a bedroom, okay? So the only problem I have is where this light is right here. But what I would do, you need 17 inches for a closet. All right, well, let's say 22 inches. All right, 22 by 36.
That's not a bad idea right there, Chris.
22 by 36. Closet right here. Door opening right here. How big of a closet they need? You understand what I'm saying? Bed go here, dresser there, whatever the case. You got a bedroom. It's for a kid.
It's kid's bedroom.
Kid's bedroom.
By the way, this is the claustrophobic room. Just
And they're going to be claustrophobic, but I think they're claustrophobic because it's so dark. Okay, if you paint it, if it's lighter, it doesn't give you that feeling.
So we talked about moving the fan to the middle.
It's so weird.
Yeah. Well,
we talked
They
about.
stepped that wall up then.
no, I told him why it's like this.
Oh,
They added this wall.
yeah.
Yeah. Which again, this is where the other bathroom will be on the other side.
That would have bathroom would be right.
Y'all gonna change my whole plan scene, by the way. I'm seriously like, I
That's
can't
why you come look at it several times.
Well, that's why you bring some women. to
Right,
it.
exactly.
You know, I don't bring my wife. My wife doesn't. I'm not sure my wife
Don't
goes.
think too much. It's a brand new house.
Yeah, like they're yellow, they just kind of cut it. It is.
What do we need advice?
How's your arm holding up in that
It's
wall?
that wall that's
I mean,
bothering me.
I'm getting a pump in.
Because these are smooth.
It's not hard to just put sheetrock over this wall.
Okay, then I would
I
do
would,
that.
I would go and I would sheetrock this entire wall.
Sheetrock.
Leave this wood.
I would
I like the
be
wood.
honest with you.
Leave that wood or paint that wood.
I would paint that. I would let this be an accent wall.
Yeah.
I would leave this wall wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paint.
Paint that, put sheetrock over
Do
this
you
one.
guys like the closet idea before we look at the other bathroom?
You definitely need a closet.
Yeah, but I think this would be the smartest place to put a closet. It's out the way.
Yeah.
Really is.
You're
You can
not,
still fit a bed
and you
in.
can still fit a bed because the bed can go right here.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and I would sand these before I painted them.
Okay.
Sand them a bit.
Yeah, probably would be expected for sure.
Because otherwise, everything a little girl puts on is all
It's gonna get caught on the wall.
We'll make money on it.
I like it.
It's not dangerous at all.
Oh my god. You light one match in here and the whole place comes down real quick. Everything is wood. What the? There's no way. Is that just there? Because it's
I said the same thing.
that ain't the.
Somebody tore it out. Put it
Okay.
there. It
The
wasn't
rest
there.
of the house made that same.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Like I would not be surprised if that was the
Yeah,
bathroom and the
exactly.
kitchen.
They used to have a curtain there.
What is this?
That is the bathroom. Shower and everything.
Oh my
This is a
god.
good sized, big ass. And this could be the laundry room too.
That's what I was
talking
thinking
about.
when I walked in before you
Yeah.
showed me the bathroom.
The whole bathroom here and the laundry room, one big thing. That allows that laundry room to be something else.
Alright, hand paint.
I don't see it as a bedroom.
Smoker's yellow, right? Smoker's yellow. Okay. Alright, guys.
I would
change it.
What?
Like,
Have a
it's-
tough time with
Alright,
that.
guys,
That's
everybody
to
get,
me,
can I get everybody? Can I get you guys here? Okay, so let's, alright, kitchen is one of the, expensive fixes, okay? I think everybody's aware of that. Kitchen is an expensive cost. So it's also the selling point for the house, for obviously the woman who is the one that makes the decision. So, so there's variables surrounding the kitchen, certainly. The plan is to knock this wall out, okay? Open it up, and it's great, and when you see the real size of that window, because that blind's really covered up, window's huge, and it's what a beautiful thing to look through when you walk in the front door. Couple things, flooring is a given. With the house raised like this, moving plumbing is pretty easy because you can get right underneath it. So the question one is, do we knock the wall out basically to the cabinets and keep this side of cabinets? Or do we keep the cabinets, not do we keep the layout? Question two, we had talked about number one, leaving this L. Number two, making the L extend along that wall there and having a wide open kitchen, potentially an island. More money. More money. I'm not saying you shortcut or chintz, but you have that. So those things have to go through your mind. Are you living here?
No.
Anybody gonna move? Anybody want to move in? Not
Yeah.
move in. Anybody's gonna move in, right? The answer is no. So, but it's that fine line. Don't mistake what I'm saying. Please don't mistake what I'm saying. So, and then the third question is the cabinets themselves. So if you look at these they're not fiber cabinets. They were actually white at one point. They smoked so much. But look, could you know, my wife has picked out these really neat handles. Could you paint these white and put new hardware on them, or do you replace them? Again, you replacing them, Chris. If we were to replace this kitchen, forget the wall, but just the cabinets and everything, what would you peg the cost at? Include the flooring.
If you're taking out the, oh my goodness, man,
$8 grand, 10 grand.
I was gonna say about 12.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's a lot of money, guys. It's a lot. By the way, so and here's the other thing. So and look, guys, I don't just keep being you. That's all I want you to do. Just keep being you. And if you're gonna throw up on these cabinets, I want you to throw up on them and tell me. So, but at the end of the day, Dan didn't like these cabinets either. But at the end of the day, the contractor, they're real wood. The contractor thinks that they can be absolutely kills, whitewashed, insides too, by the way. Yeah. And this really modern, it's like a big rectangle handle. And it's like a little oversized. It's like a silver or brass. And brand new countertops for sure. So, and I'm not saying that it's the right move, but kitchen sells it all. But one thing, when you walk by it or through it the first time, the thing that jumped out to me most was the kitchen. You said it's got a centralized kitchen, but it really needs an upgrade. So we're not sugarcoating that. But so let's go through the questions. Everyone agrees with the wall. What do you guys think about?
The wall are you talking, Scott?
That's the second question. We talked about keeping all these over here and basically, you know, knocking it off to this point.
I got
Okay,
a
so
thought.
Floating here?
I got a thought.
Or you can just take the wall out of that.
Yeah, put the fridge right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. My thought is, I'm just saying, I would take this out. I would move the sink, and I would actually, I like the island idea, but I would detach it from this wall, and I would put the sink in the island.
well, that's interesting.
I would put the sink in the island. You standing here, you washing dishes, you're looking right out of here. You know what I'm saying? Your stove is here, your refrigerator is there. Ergonomically, it's okay. It works.
Netta, what you got?
Alright, I saw a house that, because it was a beautiful new house, but it was small. So when they did, like what you're talking about with taking the island out, what Chrissy did, Don DeRosa's partner, is she built a movable island. So it's on rollers, lockdown rollers. So when they had a party, they could slide it over against the door that goes out into the garage,
great
but
idea.
yet it had a whole island.
You couldn't put the sink in there, but that doesn't matter because I don't know that. I like the idea too,
You
but
could, like you're saying, if you've got your stove here, your sink and dishwasher's over here, and you could put a movable island in here.
you know, flex tube, right? The flex tube doesn't go
I'm
much.
frowning.
Well, the reason
So,
other thing I thought about the island is
Great
it's
for
not just an
partying.
island, but an eatery.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
three stools on it. That's
Right,
exactly
3 stools on the other side here, because what you're doing here is you're actually going to extend the kitchen just a little, and you're going to have, so you're going to make this dining room area a little smaller,
but it still can fit a dining room table. So, but you got enough room to,
Yes.
you know.
All right.
And
So back to the question. So y'all, yes or no on these sides?
I would keep those. I would keep those.
If you've got somebody that can really finish them
The only thing is those two.
they're not all
have a
warped and
hat
buckled,
on that.
so I
It'll be
No,
gone.
you're gonna get that's gonna be gone. Yeah, you're gonna get rid of that
We're
wall.
gonna give a little hack on for Micah and changing it for Micah. Painting it is very difficult.
It's very
But you
difficult.
can wrap it in vinyl for very cheap.
yes,
So
there
this
is
could
a
be all
new
wrapped in white
product.
vinyl. It's brand new
Yes.
product. It's
Yeah, because it
cheaper.
glues on. Vinyl glues
It's
on.
only about $1.80 a square foot, and it's very easy to install.
So this could all be white granite.
And you can
But
do that
painting,
with the
if it was
countertop.
this wood everywhere, no problem.
Yeah, but this
Being that
Formica,
it's wrapped in Formica, it's
yeah,
hard to paint.
that's hard. It's hard for Formica. It's
Epoxy type
yeah.
paint.
Even when you sand it, it's hard for the paint. And they have a gripper, which is a paint that a base that you put on it, and you know that it helps the paint stick to it.
Yeah,
But it's still. But what happens is even when you do that, say you're coming along and you got something and you do that, it scratches it right off.
All right. So okay. So can the cabinets be saved?
I think they can.
I would say.
Okay. All right.
If you can.
Okay. Okay. And that's a good point though. When you get a hat that's finishing, it changes the whole outcome, right? Okay. And then what was my other question? Counter's gone, replaced. Yeah, new hardware for sure. Ooh, here's a kicker. This almost got us, by the way. You guys caught it up there. There's a drop ceiling here.
Yeah, I would get rid of that.
Drop ceiling, but guess what? If you go to the inside, this wood here, it stops.
It doesn't
Which
over
means,
there though.
doesn't over there, I know. Which means we're stuck having to replace this with, we're gonna take the wood down because if you wanna get rid of the drop ceiling, you'll never match that. So we're stuck trying to replace it.
14-inch crown molding.
No, I'm gonna tell you something. Have you ever been in a house? Have you ever been in a house that had a colored wall, and then above the colored wall, it makes it look like the ceiling comes down?
The curve?
No, the basically what happens is the wall above this here, it looks exactly like the ceiling.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Folded
about?
edge.
You know, yeah. That's a cost-effective way of doing it.
It's interesting, so then what would you? So
Paint the
so-
border up to the same color as the ceiling.
Exactly.
So then let me ask you guys this, if that were the
And
case.
you put trim around there, and
What
then
would
you
you
good.
do, would you paint these walls? I'm looking for the women's opinion here. Let's say these went all the way to the top. Would you paint the walls? Would you leave them wood? Would you rip them out and put sheetrock?
I think whatever you do in there, maybe you should do in.
Well, I would agree.
Because you get too much of, I would agree. I think there's,
Gotta have a flow.
yes, Netta, what you thinking?
I would agree with the sheetrock, because like, if you're not gonna salvage all this gorgeous wood, then don't spend the time taking it.
Love this wood, man.
So do I. No, I think the wood is good.
Yeah.
Can I throw another curve?
But,
Go ahead.
no, that's okay, go ahead.
Another curve is if you want to keep a bit of that, just in this room, you could literally, if the ceiling, I don't know, how tall is it up after the drop ceiling, I'm not sure.
It's not much about that
But
much.
you could take your saw.
It's right
and
here,
rip-
see?
You could take your saw and rip a chair rail
Yeah.
all the way across 3/4 of this wall. So if you keep it there, have a chair rail across top and then paint it.
And paint it above that.
Right.
That's a good idea.
So
too.
that'd be a way to cut the cost of what it would cost to rock it in half. Yeah. And you'd have a really nice accent. I mean, that would look.
Actually, I
that would
like
pop.
that,
That would look
I'm
really
seeing
good.
it, and I'm.
So if you just basically you come with your circular saw and rip a line where your chair rail would be all the way around this room. Then you have to pop the top off, save it, use it elsewhere, right?
Whatever.
If
Sheetrock
you
that.
can, and then sheetrock it from here to the ceiling.
It's a great suggestion.
And then you
Yeah, I
have
like that.
really cool
Yeah,
accent,
combinations.
and it flows. It still connects to the.
Yeah,
front.
yeah,
you can do
worry
that
about
in that
matching
room
it
too.
to
That
the
way it
ceiling
would
room
match
as
everywhere.
well.
I like that.
And
Can't see
you're
it, but
saving
I'm just
something
gonna
original
throw
in
this
the
out there.
house, which I like.
I don't know how bad it is, but the ceiling right here is coming down. Above this,
Yes.
the ceiling is falling. So I'm sitting here looking at it. This is sitting on this here, and it's up here. But I see what it's got. It's a for some reason there's a
Little bit of a vaulted.
I don't know if it's swole or coming down or if it's vaulted.
All right, let's keep going for the sake of time, because we've got, everybody okay? Okay, are you good?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the room that confused me.
Okay, so this used to be a bathroom.
And a laundry room.
And a laundry room at once. That's one in one. So, all right, come on, you guys, take a quick gander. Question here. It's really the same. You know, there's wood everywhere in this house, and so in order to get the foundation right, this still has a little bit of a slant, Chris. Did you catch
Yeah, I
that?
feel it.
So yeah, he's got gotta get that up to a little more. But we're gonna replace. Do you like the wood in here? And
Oh,
if
it's
you did,
beautiful.
what would you do with it? Would you leave it wood?
I love this.
Okay, I love it, Heather.
This is one of the ones that I wouldn't bother.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I would reconfigure it.
Yes.
I just see it used to be a toilet that they didn't cut out for the toilet. It
It
used to be a yes. But that was because this over here was your pantry area. I mean your laundry area. But if you're gonna move your laundry area, then you know.
Yeah.
But that laundry area out there, if you're gonna make it a bedroom, then you can put your.
I think this would be better.
Radio.
So wait, so then you would, could you still have the bathroom in here?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I've seen it all the time. I would put a toilet in there and make it a what they call put the washer and dryer in. I would put some really awesome hardware on the
It looked like it used to be a wall here at some point.
Yeah, that's what
No, I love
It looked like it was a wall here for the bathroom, and then this was a washroom.
Oh,
That,
yeah.
so
It's a great
I would do a
contract.
stackable washer and dryer.
question is, do you put the wall back? Separate the bathroom from the.
No, I would not. I've seen it, and I would not. I just think it makes it.
Just
I
to
mean,
be
really,
open.
I mean, you just if you wanted to do.
Walking through here, you got a little bit of some up down here. Not, it's what it is. You're kind of ground level, but ultimately,
Yeah, it's coming here from.
you guys that going down a little more.
Yeah, coming
It's
from.
really, I'd open up this wall.
Which one, better?
I would put big double line.
Well, so okay. Here's another question. We have enough everybody in here.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. So first time I walked in through here, the contractor had said that he could get me a 90-inch. I don't remember the exact, but a 90-inch.
Pretty big.
It's huge. So we have to now. The thing, this is almost what I think about. I said I can get it for $700. It's on sale. It's on whatever. And I said, okay, but what happens to the outside of the house when you have to cut a bigger hole? I guess you could just. If it's siding, could you just put caps around the side?
You just
Okay.
trim it out there.
And then we talked about getting a bay window, then we talked about getting one where the kids could sit on it. Guess what keeps going up? Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. You know what I like about that window? That is already there. It's already there.
And I can
right?
see the water.
Well, then we said, well, guys, but Dan, you can't open it.
Yeah, what windows open in this house?
You can open this.
Well, but again, guys, this is, these are questions that you are going to have answer on the houses that you do. And again, putting a bigger window in there, if I'd have said yes to that 90-inch window with his installation, I'm $1,500 in.
That's $1,500 off your $50,000 that you could use somewhere else, or put in your pocket.
Now, if you already get attached to these houses and get emotional, and then maybe you should be doing rehabs, right? No, I'm kind of half serious though. You got to be objective. You got to be not emotional. You have to be strategic. Obviously, otherwise, and we had a guy that worked with us recently, who's one of our affiliates, a great guy, but he was military, and man, he was going to do things the right way. And he was doing it himself. And he's the guy that is going to get himself in trouble because he's going to take too much pride in a house that only he cares about, and maybe the buyer. But
I think I would leave it.
I said maybe. I will tell you that when it, like you said, you gotta be strategic, right? And I was thinking, what is more strategic in capitalizing on that view?
hard to argue.
You know, and so that's one
Could be a
thing.
selling feature if you got a bay window there.
That's what I would
Especially
say.
when you're walking through the front door and you're looking out there and
Get rid of this wall so you can see out that window, right?
Well, but this is, it's interesting, so I agree with you. I agree with what Chris said, because it's $1,500 less that we would have to spend. And Mauricio said, you know what, get rid of those blinds, get some nice blinds. I mean, you don't even realize how much
more window there is now.
Right? So it's a big,
It's significant.
and so this is interesting, because you had a case that is fine. You had a case that I would change it. Who's right? Both of you, right? It's whatever you prefer, as long as you don't start spending too much money. We're almost done. Let's come in here.
Window is big enough.
Got the wood question here,
okay, this is supposed to be massive.
What?
I think this is where I have this is probably where I have the biggest issue on the house. This is what prompted me. This room is what prompted me to talking about extending the front room. It was this room that did that. And the reason I said that is because I go in a lot of houses. All right? and it just doesn't sell me as a master bedroom.
No.
Very small.
The front seems more like a master.
It does, this one doesn't sell me as a master. Even if you add a bathroom there, it just doesn't sell me as a master bedroom.
Is there any aspect of the fact that this master bedroom is by the water versus just the water?
I think I would say now, if you're looking at that aspect of it, and you're looking at the view, yeah, you know what I'm saying, because now you're in a bedroom that you can look out and you can, you know.
That's very nice.
It's very nice. It's very nice.
It's more like a guest
Different
bedroom.
wood again.
But the problem is, it's more like a guest mother-in-law suite, something like that. It's you know. Yeah, but if you, she hard on it.
She is.
Oh God.
What is up there?
Much smaller than the one. Yes.
Is this a bathroom?
And I would just take this room.
What the heck? This is not another bedroom. I think it is. I think it's another bedroom. But there's no
You
way.
want to call this?
There's no way.
It can't be a bedroom off a bedroom though.
Right. But it has its own closet. Who designed this place?
No, I think that it's kind of
That
I was
is
just
so
gonna say what makes it
weird.
the ceiling height. The ceiling height makes a difference in this room, but I wouldn't change it.
No idea.
Did you put your light on it?
Yeah.
How big is it? What are you using?
It's like
Come on,
a,
guys. Let's get everyone paid.
it's like a closet
Couple
size.
things.
But it has a closet too.
Andrew, let me get you guys here for a second. Thank you. Yeah, also make that point, and then I'll chime in.
Okay, so point I was making as well, so obviously right now, guys, we're talking about how important it is to know your exit strategy, know your location, and then know your budget, and making sure you're not trying to find more ways to spend money unnecessarily. And that's good because you need to stay in your margins, but two, because what happens when you start digging in here and you figure out that there's a major electrical problem, there's another, and that could be another $5,000,
Yeah.
there's a major plumbing issue. A couple $1,000. There's a septic tank that has to be redone. A couple $1,000, right? So it's good to stay in your margins because you know, make sure you're safe, but also make sure there's wiggle room in case there is something dramatic that comes up that's not a deal buster. Because when you're running thin and that happens, now you're underwater potentially.
All right, so Chris, out of 10 houses, how many are going to have something unforeseen?
10.
So that's it's good to keep in mind. Okay, so what I want to do again, we planned all afternoon here, but I want to reconvene and go over some things. So I want to get through the house and then we can chat, maybe even hang on the dock. So couple things. One is what are we gonna do here?
Never. Okay, baby.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, see, that's two things. I need to know what everyone thinks here. And then the second thing is, and I shared this with you guys before, but we had planned to, and for the sake of the fact that we're trying to share everything here, it was about $6,300 to put a bathroom in there. Okay. So, but that was the plan. Or that was the plan. So, okay, so question one is, by the way, I haven't really asked you guys about the floors.
I wouldn't touch this floor.
Okay, because you can clean these up real nice.
I like that idea.
It's a good floor.
This could be the master.
Well, that's where we're going. Yeah. By the way, you know what things we haven't talked a lot about, guys, is windows.
That's what I was saying.
If the window, first of all, if the window doesn't open, that's a problem. This one here probably is functional. It's definitely older. We're replacing the ones up front. I don't remember if we're going to replace this one or not. But if the window doesn't open, it doesn't count. It's a fire hazard at a house, or a bedroom, excuse me.
It's broke, but it opens.
Okay, so we probably would windows that another one of those things that could really creep up on you. Really creep up. We had it happen not too long ago. We had 7 windows and something like that, and they were
$10,000.
no, but not but like 4 or 5.
Oh,
it was
okay.
expensive enough. So okay, Netter, paint or leave the wood?
Paint.
Paint white.
I would consider even just whitewashing it.
Okay.
So when you say paint, when you whitewash, you dilute your paint down halfway. So a 50-50 blend with water and paint it, and that way it still lets the wood and the texture come through.
I like it, Marisi.
I like it.
Listen, it's opinions. How about the closet? Closet got some good wood in there, it looks like, right?
Yeah.
James, what would you do? Oh, you're a guy, so I mean, I asked you, 'cause I don't want to exclude you, but I don't really care. You're a guy. No, I'm just kidding. What would you do?
I mean, no, the debate we were having,
Probably
answer
that
the
panel.
question was, they were debating if they would even have this as the master versus like a guest.
Yeah, right.
I was arguing where you have the view versus, you know, what you guys had in the bathroom would do versus what it would take to make that other one a master bedroom without the view. So, but as far as your question, like I probably wouldn't, I like what you set up as far as the wood and stuff.
Okay, so there's one thing I want to add. With seeing all this wood, now I'm thinking, what if you had more of a nautical thing? That way you wouldn't have to paint as much. Or a lot of houses with that nautical thing, the wood is painted white, but there's a lot of wood that shows. That may help with the cost.
I don't know, I understand what you're saying. What would you do specifically when you say nautical thing?
So like, you know, how in the other room you were gonna maybe paint one wall white. Maybe if you wanted to do that here, or maybe in the closet to make it brighter in there when you open it, because it is kind of dark.
By the way, this is paneling. This is the same
That's
thing.
paneling?
This is
okay.
paneling. What's on that front bedroom
Gotcha.
wall? That's what this
It
is.
just doesn't look as rough. All right, how about the bathroom up here, guys? What do you think? Now that you've seen, Molly?
I like this as a master. I know that the lady like the other one. I like this as a master because of that view.
Okay.
I think this white. That's a good closet for maybe the white. That's a good closet here for the husband.
Yeah, he really is.
And a really big bathroom. To me, a big bathroom
Yeah.
is more important to me than the space.
Even though this room is small, because of the ceiling height, it
feels
feels
Yeah,
bigger.
exactly.
And you have the window open, right? So that's gonna automatically bring lighting. That's gonna make it feel bigger as well. If you close that window out, and it feel way smaller.
So, back
All I'm doing in here is sleeping.
Right.
But a bathroom, if it's a bathroom,
That's right.
I don't do everything in my bedroom.
so then,
I do
so,
all the rest.
so then, okay, we'll go back to the suggestion, because you had talked about making the middle bedroom a bathroom, which you technically lose it, whereas with Chris said, you make that little closet, now you have a bedroom. Hey, I'm not living in there, I wouldn't even fit in that room if I had to lay down, but kid could, right?
Yeah.
So, I think
They're perfect then.
I think you lose value if you create the bathroom.
So here's the thing, if you make that a law, I don't wanna walk through company in the kitchen and use the bathroom. You know, and if I'm on that side, I still gotta walk through the living room and kitchen to get to the bathroom. You lose your privacy. So that's why I feel like that side need a bathroom.
And I guess if you're
Whereas
adding
this
bedrooms,
one, you
yeah.
can kinda run up the steps real quick.
Sure.
I say that because I had a bedroom off the living room, and I'm like, okay, is everybody at the living room? So I can dart across the living room to get to the bathroom.
Yeah, you don't
And
do
I
it.
hated
Yeah,
that.
right. That makes a lot of sense, makes a lot of sense.
You know, what would that make this? 2 bedrooms?
Well, if you do front, middle, and here it'd be a 3, 1 bath, 2 bath, 3, 2. Right now it's really, technically it's a 2-1, functional 3-1 with that middle. When I say functional, means they use it, someone will use it as a bedroom without a closet.
Right.
But from a value standpoint, you know, the argument is it's a 2-1 with office, with whatever you want to call that. So we put a closet in there, it formalizes it as a 3-1. I don't know if you have to have a window, would be the only thing, but I don't think you do for bedroom. And so, but again, functionally, you'd have a very little pushback if you had a closet in there, that's a bedroom. So adding the bath would make it would make it a 3-2. Molly?
I'm thinking that if this is a rental or a lease,
Yes, that seems to be the plan. I just have, nothing is swaying me off of that.
parents, 1 to 2 kids, maybe 3 share the room. To me, a kid, I'm not worried about their privacy.
Yeah,
If
right.
they have to walk across the
Yeah.
bathroom,
I kind
If
of
you have
agree.
a teenager and you're doing a lot.
girl, I don't care.
Well, we haven't concluded on the law. We gotta go back to the law.
Well, that's what, I think that may be your deciding
But listen,
factor.
but I think even with the loft, even if you did do the loft, I think walking over here to the bathroom is not a problem.
Yeah.
I just don't.
I don't even.
And if it's an Airbnb, it's a quirky place, it's.
But they're only here for a couple nights.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
They're not, you know, this is, and again, like I started up in there, I don't think we could have a better example of a house to walk through. A, don't be careful, but also look at all the amenities, right? Which is not a bad thing. Somebody, yeah, which is not positive. So, okay, bathroom here, and then I want to take you out here, and then we're gonna go ahead and reconvene.
I just do my neck, which is very satisfying.
It is. You like going to chiropractor? Or
No, but when I did, that's when I started being able to do my neck. They did it once, and then I can crack my neck ever since.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I think chiropractor is worth your weight in gold. I really do. Some people disagree, but I don't have to take pain pills and they can just reposition it. I'm all for it.
Where's Chris? There he is. Yeah, no, you're fine. This, you have, by the way, a couple of tidbits. These are tidbits. So in Florida, it's, wood destroying insects or organisms are an issue, i.e. termites. So water, so you always want to be conscious of depending on where you live, things are more custom or specific to your locale. So I don't know in New Jersey if you've had issues with termites as you would down in Jacksonville, Florida. So I do know that's one of those things. Now, sliding glass door. We think that it's really, the crack is all muddled up. We think it's in pretty good shape. It could be saved. Over here, you see my feet, what I keep saying, my feet
They're talking.
Let your feet do the talking. I'm not happy with that. Not okay.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, right?
Wow.
So, but guess what? My feet are telling me, and again, by the way, here's the weird question of the day. Weird question of the day. Is this house talking to anybody but me?
Oh, it's screaming.
Is it screaming?
It's singing.
You just saying that, and you don't make me feel bad. I do too. It's got an energy. It's got an energy. All right, Molly, stay with me for a second here. So this here, this is a 2-panel. I see this blinds in the middle. It's broken. And guess what? You can pop that out and replace that. Right? Okay. Here's what we talked about for out here. Now, this was the original contractor that I brought through. I had two or three crews that through here. He said, "Oh man, we got to wall this in. We could put 2 big windows here, 2 big windows there, and we'll close this off." And I said, "Oh man, it's a great idea, and I love it." And then I started thinking, brought the next crew out here, and they said, "Why would you want to wall this off?"
No, all this is coming through
Yeah,
here.
so hold on, let me tie this down. So first of all, think of the construction now with windows. Now you don't have the siding. I guess you could try to match it and add it in, but you're probably going to see it's going to be hard to make it exactly perfect. However, you're walling it in. But I said, but this looks like crap. So this is such an easy fix to replace this, and instead of putting these slats every 18 inches, you might need one. In fact, you might, if you use metal, whatever casing, whatever you say, you may not need any slat. Right? It depends. In fact, I have a picture of a porch for this purpose that has these huge, big screens with no slats, right? So instead of closing this in,
Open it up.
yeah, and then I said, look, get rid of these nails, right? Because those are unsightly. But you know what? I thought if you maybe whitewash or something on the ceiling, put a new fan, it's got kind of, it's like you're outside. It's got this thing. I'm a guy.
I like it.
Okay?
Yeah.
So what do you think about walling in the windows versus opening this up?
Never close it up.
You can.
I will open it. So here's what the problem. You got to look at this here, which I know I'm quite sure whoever came and looked at it bought this up. This is almost considered a low bearing wall. Okay, but this whole thing right here, if you look down here,
That got moved when they were doing the foundation.
it's rotten. It's rotten on it. There's nothing holding it. So this has to be repaired at some point across this wall. You got to take this off and then see what's actually going on in there, because like this is one of those things that you can't spend all your money because this is sneak up on you.
That could be one of those sneak
So if this is a load-bearing wall, then why can you not knock all of this out and redo this corner and then just screen it in?
Well, yeah, because like he's right about this. This is not low bearing, so you don't have to have a bunch of slats in this wall at all. You know what I'm saying? You can have 1, 2 in the corner, or maybe just put 3 in here with 3 big openings. But either way it go, you can do anything you want to do with this wall. You know what I'm saying? As far as the screen go, cost effective is opening it up is really cheap. It's really cheap.
Yeah. And so as far as the bathroom, that's the bathroom window. We said, one guy said we should wall that off and put siding over it. And why? But again, that was a contract. Guys, these are examples of, if you don't know any better than the contract, I think it would look much better if you did that. Okay, great. There's $500. You just washed down the toilet. All right. So, okay. The only thing I want to point out is just for, we were going to get, Maurice, plug your ears. We're going to get rid of all those palm trees up against the back. Well, it's starting to, the roots are going to pop up, but now if you get rid of those palm, she doesn't want us to lose the palm trees. So
Plant them somewhere else.
Chris is going to take them. Don't feel bad. He's going to take them.
But I love palm trees. The palm trees is aesthetics.
Guys, picture this. Picture that all power washed. Picture that color scheme. Tan with white on the top and black shutters. When you're looking at the dock, looking back at that, look at that little fence. I mean, this is
I
what's
love
going to
that
sell the
fence.
property, right? So, okay. All right. You guys want to walk any more? Do you have any more questions?
What are you gonna do with the floor out here? What do you think?
So, what do you think, sir?
Man, I'll put indoor outdoor carpet or something.
Oh, carpet.
Something.
Okay. Not like an
indoor
overlay or some
outdoor.
sort?
Yeah.
What would you do there?
Blanket. That's a little more expensive, but
The
it's
indoor
doable.
because you're not gonna get enough sun in here. It's like it's gonna stay wet.
Not the plastic. Not
It would get wet in the
No,
winter.
you got.
It's got a drain. So you gotta
That's
put
true.
something under it, and if you're soft, it's not gonna drain.
But
You can grill out here, right? Even though it has the.
the plastic. Yeah, the plastic. It doesn't hold water.
And by the way,
It doesn't hold water.
I also want to say this, guys, that if you walk down the dock, and I guess we probably could and then we can reconvene, but there is a couple of the beams in the water are a little loose, so nothing. I mean, I'm not concerned about our safety, but there is a couple. But there you go. But there are a couple things like the beams. There's a couple beams that need to be replaced in. So I was just saying that those.
My fat self. So
Well, but when we talk about, to Austin's point, some of the things that may not have been planned. So okay. All right. So all right. Here's what I'd like to do, guys. All right. Do we have everybody here? Did we miss anybody? Where's James?
He's out there in the bathroom.
I understand. All right. So